For some reason, I have decided to combine my May and June reading wrap up together. So let's get into it. To make this a little bit easier, let's first go over all the physical books that I have read in the past 2 months. Honestly, it's not a lot. I read mostly on my Kindle. The Endless Fall. I freaking love this book. I read her other duet last year and absolutely loved her writing. It was phenomenal. The atmospheric vibes in this was superb. We had the gothic southern setting. We had the small town, the mystery setting going on. Our FMC is the black sheep of this entire town. Something bad happened to her as a child, and all of a sudden her brother's best friend moves in temporarily because he's trying to take care of one of his siblings. So there's the forced proximity between them. The tension between these characters was everything. And I don't want to give anything away on here, but it does leave off in a huge cliffhanger. So I am so freaking excited to get my hands on the next book when it does come out. But just know that like the tension and yearning in this is top tier. You will be flipping the pages and losing sleep over this book. 100 freaking percent. But this town of Deadwood, all bad vibes. There's weird people in masks doing like some fire cult things in the middle of cornfields. There's all sorts of weird things, but I loved it. And the fact that she just was dry humping her brother's best friend in the middle of the night, and then his brother is peeking through the window like, hello. I loved every second of this. Go read it. Saving Soul by Anne Penny. This was honestly quite a pleasant surprise. This is a series, but I read this out of order. This is an interconnected standalone. This follows our FMC who can feel people's emotions and on a visceral level. So there's like kind of this paranormal vibe to it. So she recently lost her husband. She has a child and she needs to make money. So she goes with this family and is a caretaker, doing all of this man's last wishes. His family is very broken. She gets them all together. The found family in this was gorgeous. I loved it. The MMC is grumpy to a fault, dare I say, but I loved them together. She feels people's emotions. So she's dealing with this dying man and she can physically feel when he's in pain, when he's not in pain, and his needs when he's not even speaking about it, which I thought was beautiful. I didn't think that I'd fall so in love with a old dying man in this book, but I did, because the story of him and him wanting his family at the end while he's dying was so freaking heartbreaking and beautiful. And while she's taking care of this man, she stays in his mansion and all of his family comes and starts visiting him. And that's where she brings everyone together. There's a lot of grief. There's a lot of secrets. There's found family. The romance is very frustrating for a little bit because he's so grumpy and she's like, bruh, get it together. But he does read her favorite romance books, which I thought was really cute, and was like highlighting them. He was taking notes. But this was a pleasant surprise and I adored it. Worth The Poisoner by Ivy Ophelia and The Arachnid, which is book 2. I didn't love it, and maybe it's just the season. It's sunny, it's bright, it's warm out. This is giving very fall and winter vibes. Our FMC is a poisoner. She is poisoning bad men. And one of the men that she poisons happens to be a vampire. The clicking noises, I did the audio for this one. The clicking noises did not do it for me. I know that's an unpopular opinion, and that's okay. I'm not going to say much about these 2 books because they are so hyped. The MMC, what the frick is his name? Silas is very flamboyant, flirtatious, which I did like his vibes. And then our FMC was like, I don't give an F. Do you, boo? But I'm going to poison the heck out of you. The romance was very fun, flirty, cute. But I don't know. I wasn't really feeling this. It was good, but I think it's better read in the colder months. The Divorce by Frida McFadden. It's mandatory that once a year I read a thriller by the pool. And this was it. I read it in one sitting. It was short. It was sweet. Are Frida McFadden books good? No, they don't make sense. They're all over the place. And every character is kind of insufferable, but that's kind of the point. Brain rot for readers. Amen. So this girl, her husband's like, pack your bags, baby boo. Actually, I packed your bags for you. Go stay at my parents' little home and I'm going to remodel the house. And then all of a sudden he's like, just kidding. I changed the locks and I'm divorcing you. They have a kid. There's another woman. None of it made sense. I had a fabulous time. I would recommend it. If you need something mindless, if you need some brain rot, but with words on paper, this is it. Heavy by M.L. Burns. This is also such a loved and hyped book. Our FMC is dealing with a lot of mental health issues. She has people following her. Her house just burned down, so she moves into her parents' cabin. and she's in the process of remodeling it and just getting back on her feet. Our MMC just got out of prison. We don't really know his background at first. They are related not by blood. He is her step uncle. They don't really know of each other, and all of a sudden he shows up at the cabin too. It was a good time. It was surprisingly more emotional than I thought it would be. Is it spicy? Yeah, it is very emotional. There's mysterious vibes to it. There's a lot of need to know what's going to happen on the next page vibes. But the tension, and I'm sorry, a tattoo with sit on your face, I need no more instruction than that. This was so fun. I love this. I will be continuing on. I know there's more books in this series. Forbidden Romance always gets me. Perfect for You by Ken Blakely. Our FMC is in college. She is looking to make more money because she's getting cut off by her dad because she wants to follow her own dreams. And the MMC is a billionaire pilot, and he's looking for a sitter. She applies with no experience, doesn't really do any of the thing. I loved the first 20% of this, and then it just went downhill for me. That's why I would say no to maybe on this. Just very immature. She fell asleep, and all of a sudden, day one, he's picking her up and putting her in the bed. If my employer did that to me, I don't care how hot he is. No, don't touch me. And he just leaves. She's taking care of his kid with like no background check, no nothing. Does she know what she's doing? Who knows? But he just fully trusts her. I wanted to love this. It was just all over the place, very immature. I did not feel the chemistry between these characters. So I'm interested to see what is going to happen in the next book to see if it gets any better. You know what I mean? And I want to feel the chemistry on page, and when I don't, I just don't care. I did read one hockey romance in the past 2 months, and this is Just Playing for Keeps by Lauren Blakely. Honestly, one of my favorite hockey romances at this point. Highly recommend the audio. I did an immersive read of this, and I have to say, this was so freaking fun. This is her best friend's brother. She got dumped on a Jumbotron at a game, and she was expecting him to propose, and this guy was like, hell no. I'm going to distract everybody to take the attention away from her. He's just like a baby angel. Her chemistry, I was fanning myself the entire time. It was hot. Highly recommend. This is even better than book 1 in the series. And then I finally, after waiting like 2 years, I read One Last Rainy Day by Kate Stewart. I would say maybe to this. Maybe it's because I waited so long in between reading the Ravenhood trilogy to reading this. I think I was just over it. I don't know. It was okay. I'm glad we got Dom's POV because did I need that trauma again? No. But I also didn't even cry because I think I was just so far removed from this. But no spoilers. This is just Dom's POV of everything that happened in the Ravenhood trilogy. Is it good to get closure? Yes. Would I recommend it? Maybe. Souls and Room by Jacqueline White. Also with this, do an immersive read. Death's Voice was giving me full body chills because it was so effing good. This is a very dark romantasy. I knew it was dark. I didn't know it was that dark. Our FMC is a princess, black sheep of the entire kingdom. Her dad, the king, marries her off to this evil king. That's super nice of him. As soon as they get married, things go down, and then she is imprisoned. And right next to her is another man who is in prison, talking her through this whole thing. The tension between her and the other prisoned man, am I allowed to say anything? I'm not going to say it because it's not on the back. Her husband is evil, chaining her up day after day, torturing the crap out of her. Baby boo, you really hold a grudge, don't you? I would say the middle of this was really dragging. The ending, though, was phenomenal, and I need book 2 immediately. Just know it's dark. Phenomenal. One of my favorite audiobooks of the year. Read another thriller, and this is The Final Target by Nora Roberts. Listen, this is a book that needs to be turned into a movie. This was a romantic suspense done to perfection. Our FMC essentially is a up-and-coming author who just released her first book, and somebody who comes to see her becomes obsessed with her. He attacks her in her apartment. Luckily, someone comes to the rescue, and he goes to prison. She moves away. She creates this whole new life, new people, the found family, and scenic, romantic, no spice, but the romance was phenomenal. This man was building her bookshelves, helping her around the house, doing all these cute things. And then this man gets released from prison. Is he still obsessed? I don't know. You're going to have to read it to find out. This is also a perfect poolside read, but on the longer side. Terrible Beauty by Anna Zares. This was just a mafia romance. Forbidden, 2 people from 2 rival mafia gangs who have a marriage contract. Not a lot happened in this book, to be honest. It's super short. I was not really feeling it. If you like a mafia romance, this might be for you. She's a virgin. He's waiting for her to get married. He kidnaps her. That's basically what happens in book 1. The last physical book that I read in May and June is See Me by Tella Alvarez. Oh my gosh, this is one of my top reads of the entire freaking year at this point. If you want a sad girl core romance, read this. On Goodreads, I mentioned that this is giving the vibes of Ginny and Georgia, superficial friend group. Mix it with 13 Reasons Why, and you would have this. So if you're down for that, check trigger warnings because it is very deep. Our FMC is just going through a lot. Nobody really sees her. They just see her gorgeous outside and they think she's fine. Meanwhile, she's struggling. And the only one that really notices is the new guy to the friend group, who is Zane. After something really traumatic happens at a lake house that all of her friend group is at, he is the only one who's like, there's something really going on with her. And he's determined to get to the bottom of it. And the mental health, the drug addiction, the found family, the romance with no spice. This was everything I could ever want in a book. I would highly recommend everyone to read this if you are in the right mental space. Then let's get into all the books that I do not have physically that I did read. The 5 by Lily White. Oh my gosh, this is a banger. If you want another romantic suspense with mystery, a lot of trauma, and extremely dark, descriptive on-page essay, trigger warning, written in the past POV and the present with our FMC talking to a psychologist about what happened, figure out why all these people have died. The love story, but is it? It's really messed up. But she is getting abused by her neighbors, by her mom's boyfriends, and all of a sudden we find out that all these men have died. Is she the murderer? Is someone else the murderer? We don't know, but it is being told from her speaking to the psychologist and going back in time and telling her whole story of everything that's happened to her. I felt for this girl so much. Oh my gosh, this was dark, but this was so freaking good. This is a forbidden romance with a psychiatrist and patient. At first, we don't think anything is going on with this patient. She's stuck in this psychiatric hold center. She is dealing with some stuff. The psychiatrist is dealing with some stuff, and the tension between them. And all of a sudden, Miss Girl makes her move. She makes her move and she kisses him, and he's like, I like that. And he's gone. Then he disappears from this place. She leaves the place, and they somehow find each other again outside of this facility and not as patient and psychiatrist. It was honestly more emotional and more of a beautiful love story rather than just like a forbidden, spicy time. I would highly recommend this, and I don't really hear anyone talking about this one either. The Heartstrings Duet. I saw people on the internet talking about this. I have read all of Liv Xander's books. Well, I've DNF'd all of her books. This is one of the most romantic love stories ever, and the plot twists are crazy. We have this very atmospheric, gothic, rotting kingdom. Everyone's dying, and there's this curse. The king is not doing anything about it, and she's taken to the kingdom by this guy named Vale to seduce the king so she can feed the crown by getting unalived. She's a gravedigger. She's been around death her whole life. She's surrounded by death, so she's kind of like, I don't care as long as it saves my family. I'll do whatever I gotta do. But from there, the plot twists just keep going, and it gets crazy, but it is so beautiful. I was not sobbing, but I did shed a tear. Breaking His Rules by Layla Hagen. This was honestly a very short read and very good time. This was a billionaire romance. He's been through a very traumatic past with him and his brothers. And then we have our FMC, who is all like sunshine. She owns this restaurant. She's just like the cutest thing ever. But he's really grumpy to everyone. But all of a sudden, he's like grumpy to her. This is very much like a fun, easy read. Not much going on, but their chemistry was a really good time. Close to You by Nisa Renzo. If you like Binding and Keeping 13, I think that you would really enjoy this one. Is it the same? No. But our FMC has a very traumatic past with her father. She is mute because of a certain situation with her father. I don't read the back of the books, so I never know what is a spoiler. But something happens with her dad, and she gets adopted by a family. And this is where the forbidden aspect comes into play, because she is falling for her foster sibling, who is also adopted by these parents. The found family. I clearly am having a thing with found family, I guess. Romance was so cute, but the side characters, I think we're going to get their book next. I'm so excited for theirs because it's going to be like darker in a way, I feel like. And I felt so bad for her because she can't speak. And if the people that she's around don't know sign language, they can't really communicate. This was good. I want to protect every single one of these characters. Fast by Millie Belazaire. You guys, this is one of my top reads of the year. This is also family essay. Our FMC's mom dies. She goes to live with her grandma and her uncle. And from there, things just keep getting worse. The romance from friends to lovers was beautiful, spanning over decades. Who's also her neighbor, and he is the only one that really sees that something is going on with our FMC. But after a very traumatic event, she leaves, and she doesn't see the MMC for years. This was dark. I was actually sobbing at the end of this because the full circle moments, I love seeing characters come up in life and finally get something that they deserve. They deserve good things. This was highly traumatic, very deep into the childhood, heavy on mental health. I love this. I would recommend everyone to read this. Would highly recommend. Memories of You by Maddie Danielle. You guys, this is a book that I should have DNF'd. I rated it 1 star. Do you want me to read my Goodreads review? It says, in my opinion, this book had zero substance. The FMC was in a relationship with someone she didn't like, all because she decided to avoid one conversation with the man she was in love with since they were kids. As soon as they broke it off, this man then climbs in her window as an adult. It was so childish. It lacked so much emotion. There was zero chemistry with the characters. Their whole situation of not talking made zero sense. Why did you guys just not have a conversation? And this was just like, you two are acting like you're 5. Nothing happened the entire book. I will never read anything by this author again. I hate talking crap about it, but I have to be honest, I hated this book. No, I would not recommend this. Warrior Blue by Kelsey Kingsley. This was also another emotional read. This is all told with the POV of our MMC. He is a really good tattoo artist who has a really bright future in this career. And all of a sudden this girl walks in and says, hey, I want this weird butterfly tattoo. And he's like, no. And she's like, bruh, you tatted this on my sister. She's now dead. I want to honor her, so tattoo it on me. And he's like, oh crap, bet. He also has a disabled brother who he's basically the caregiver for. So he's held back by his brother. And our FMC also has a young child. So together, their lives, you see, get intertwined so gorgeously. And you just see him starting to blossom and open up to this girl. And otherwise, he's so closed off all the time. It was gorgeous. Kelsey Kingsley can write an MMC and can pull a lot of depth and emotion from these characters. I absolutely loved it. I would highly recommend it. It's definitely one of those hidden gems that will just have you in your feels, and they feel like real people. The last book that I read was Sinister by Veronica Lansett. This does not come out until August of this year, but if you liked Fairy Tale, you are going to love this book. This has the different timelines. This has I Will Love You in Every Lifetime. Our characters, at first, we meet them in school, and they have a one-night stand, and she gets pregnant. So there is the pregnancy trope in this, but this is on page 3. She starts having these weird dreams of this guy that she's crushing on, but why is she in a cult, and why is he a professor? And then when she wakes up, there are 2 students at this university that people are dying. It is a whole thing. You are going to love it. The end went a little crazy, and I'm like, girl, this is a mind F. It was so beautiful, though. The love story, the intense, mind-altering love stories that Veronica writes is just literally out of this world, and in these crazy different lifetimes. So I love this. And we saw Sin in Fairy Tale for a brief moment. So it's really cool to have his entire complete love story in this. So would highly recommend. But those are all the books that I read in the past 2 months in May and June. And we had a lot of good books, to be honest. I'm not including my DNFs. If you want me to include my DNFs in a reading wrap-up, I will be more than happy to. And there will be a lot. So let me know for next time. But that is all for now. Bye.